everyone, welcome to day 5 of our polynomials unit. Today we are going to continue with solutions, but this time we're going to start with the solutions and work our way backwards to write this polynomial in standard form. So let's look at our first example. This should be really familiar to you, this first one, because it's what you did the first 2 days. So it says, write the equation of a polynomial with zeros 4, 2, and negative 5. So when we have zeros of 4, 2, and negative 5 with multiplicity of 2, I want us to do these steps as if we're reading them on the right. Set x equal to each 0. So what that means is that we have x equal to 4, x equal to 2, and then x equal to negative 5 twice because the multiplicity is twice. I know we could just go ahead and write them as factors, but I want to show you the process so you can get used to it when you see something more complicated. Next step is not relevant here because we don't have any irrational values, so we'll move on to step 3, where we set each equal to 0. So that's going to be x minus 4 equals 0, x minus 2 equals 0, and then x plus 5 equals 0, and x plus 5 equals 0. We want to write those twice. Next step, multiply the factors together. So these are all the factors. Now we want to write them as a product. And I'm going to write x plus 5 squared, so it looks like how we saw it in the first couple of days. And when we're multiplying them together, we have to really finish multiplying them. And so I like to always do the first 2 and then the last, and I'll do them together. So that's going to be x squared minus 6x plus 8 multiplied by x squared plus 10x plus 25. And we're not done multiplying them together because we really need to do this trinomial by this trinomial now. And I'm not trying to FOIL that. So what I do is use a box. So I have x squared minus 6x plus 8 on one side, x squared plus 10x plus 25 going down the other. And I just separate them out. Now we're going to multiply everything in here. So we have x to the 4th, negative 6x cubed, 8x squared, 10x to the 3rd, negative 60x squared, 80x, 25x squared, negative 150x, and then 200. Then what we do next is we write the polynomial. And so I'm going to write f of x equals, and this says use any other information about the polynomial like a point or a y-intercept to find a. So I'm going to write a parentheses, and then we'll combine all our terms. X to the 4th plus 4x to the 3rd, and then we have minus 27x squared minus 70x plus 200. So I put that a in the front because we don't know what value is in the front being multiplied by everything. And so use any other information about the polynomial like a point or y-intercept to find a. If I look up here, there's no other information, which means that my final answer is just x to the 4th plus 4x squared minus cubed minus 27x squared minus 70x plus 200. All right, and that's it. So moving along to the next one. This one was, by the way, this one was really similar to what we've already done, and then we just wanted to multiply it out at the end. Now this next one, though, is a little bit different because it's got an imaginary number in there. So write the equation of a polynomial with zeros 4 and 3 plus I. All right, start with the steps. X equals 4. And then x equals 3 plus I. Now remember, whenever we have irrational solutions like this, there's always 2. So plus or minus can go together. So I just like to include that so I know there's 3 solutions to this. So I'm looking for my answer to have x cubed in it. Isolate any irrational values and square both sides. So here we have an irrational value. I want to isolate it. We can keep the plus or minus with it. And so I'm going to move that 3 over and now square both sides. What squaring both sides does is it gets rid of this I, because I squared is -1, plus I squared is -1, and minus I squared is -1. So that will take care of that. And then we now can move on to step 3, where we set each equal to 0. So that's going to be x minus 4 equals 0, and x squared minus 6x plus 10 equals 0. Now we'll multiply them together to find our polynomial. I like to use the box for anything higher than binomial. So I have x minus 4. That gets us x to the third minus 6x squared plus 10x minus 4x squared, 24x, and then -40. So remember, when we write this, we're going to write f of x equals a times x to the third minus 10x, let's see, (10x squared plus 34x minus 40. I didn't make a mistake. I thought I did, but I did not. So, A, what does A equal? This says there is a y-intercept of 5. So the y-intercept of 5 means that y is 5 when x is 0. So if I plug in 0 for all of these, then I'm really looking at 5 equals a times -40. So we want to solve for a. Divide it over, and we'll get a equals -1/8. So now that we know what a is, we can replace this a with -1/8 right here, and then distribute it through to write our final polynomial in standard form. So I'm going to write -1/8 x to the third plus 5/4 x squared, or you can write 10/8 if you like, plus or minus 17/4 x, and then plus 5. And now if I were to plug in that 0 for the y-intercept, I would get 5, like the equation, like the direction said we should have a y-intercept of 5. And we do. Now, okay, one more, this time with a square root instead of an I. I just want to show you that it's really kind of similar. If you'd like to give it a try, feel free to pause the video and try it yourself, and then you can unpause to hear me go through it. Okay, so let's see, zeros, we're going to do this quick. Oops, I did too quick there. Remember, this could be plus or minus now, so I know it's 4 roots because there's 2 when there's an irrational one. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to go ahead and square both sides here and get x squared equals 2. So if I'm squaring that whole thing, I get a 2. Positive is 2, negative squared is 2, it's the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and skip a step here to writing them like this, so that we can do it a little faster. Now that I've done 2 examples, hopefully you can see that connection. And then, like I said before, I like to multiply the first 2 together, or I like to pick the 2 easiest anyway, which I think that one's not too bad. -4x plus 3x is -x, and then I'll use the box. And I get a little bit less. I honestly just set up a box format. I don't draw all the lines or anything. I just need it to help me I need it to help me do the work there. Okay, so we will continue on here. We have this time our like terms are here and here, and so when we write it, we have to write f of x equals a times x to the fourth minus x cubed minus 14x squared plus 2x plus 24. And so now when we look back at the top, it says going through the point 1, negative 72. So we'll plug negative 72 in for y. We don't know a, and then we'll plug 1 in for every x. All right, so that's 1 minus 14 plus 2 minus 24. So that's going to be negative 12 plus 24 is positive 12. And so a times 12, that means a is going to equal negative 6. And so again, like I said before, we're going to go back here, plug negative 6 in for a, and then distribute it all out. So that's going to get us f of x equals negative 6x to the 4th plus 6x to the 3rd plus 84x squared minus 12x minus 144. And that is it. So I'm going to highlight this. This is our final answer. Don't forget the 144. And there we have something that has roots at 4, negative 3, plus or minus square root 2, and it goes through the point 1, negative 72. All right, thank you guys for a great lesson and following along and writing everything down. Check Canvas for your work for the day, and we'll see you guys next class. Thank you.